TJ Friedl was TJ 2 bombs last night, but a great performance was overshadowed once again as the injury bug has reared its ugly head. We'll tell you what it all means on today's Locked On Reds.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Reds podcast. My name is Jeff Carr. His name is Steve Offenbaker, and we are lifelong Cincinnati Reds fans. We have been podcasting about this team for a combined 14 seasons now, and we are glad that you're alongside us here today because the Reds did get a win, and there was a lot to unpack from it because a lot of it was really injury focused. That's what we're going to mainly talk about in this episode. What are the injury updates? What are the Reds looking at? Who is going to step up to replace them, not just on the roster and not just their spot, but the roles that the Reds are losing to the injured list. And then later on, I'm going to ask, is it too early to get excited about Luis Mey? Because quite frankly, I'm pretty excited about Luis Mey, and we'll do that. We'll do that later on in today's show that is brought to you by FanDuel. Make sure you check out FanDuel today. New users can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com. All right, Steve, where we will begin is, yes, the Reds did win. They ended a 4-game losing streak. They're back to 500, and all of that is overshadowed by a litany of injury updates. First and foremost, and clearly the most important, most concerning, is the fact that Hunter Greene left the game early just before the bottom of the fourth inning was about to start.
Yeah, he was warming up, felt something pull in his groin. Said after the game that he just didn't think it was going to be right. He didn't think he was going to be able to pitch and be himself. So they took him out. He's scheduled for an MRI today. We'll learn a lot more after that imaging is read. Groin strains, you never know. It depends on the severity. We could be talking about a couple weeks. We could be talking about 4 weeks. We could be talking about 8 weeks. A lot is going to depend on what that imaging shows for Hunter Greene as to how long he's going to be out.
If you watched it on the broadcast, like they showed, he throwed, good English. He threw 2 pitches.
Alabama, baby.
Alabama and Kentucky. And he didn't feel right. Like you could see he was kind of like favoring his leg, and he held up his glove and he looked toward the dugout and obviously said something trying to get their attention. And then it was a meeting of the minds. I mean, Terry Francona was out on the mound. Derek Johnson was out on the mound. Tomas Vera, all the trainers, everybody, the infield was on the mound. Everybody's trying to figure out what was going on. And then Hunter Greene walked off under his own power. Now, it was key. He walked off fine. There was no limp. There was nothing that it looked like was really affecting his walk. And that could just be adrenaline that was pumping through and making sure that none of that was really being affected. And I think we will know more today. I think any sane person thinks that an injury like this, you don't know the night of, you wait till the morning after. How does he recover from this? How do his muscles recover from this? And I believe they even said they're going to get an MRI. So they were bullish, but even Terry Francona said, quote, "We'll know a heck of a lot more tomorrow." As in, yeah, what we're saying right now, whatevs, man. Like, we'll know a lot more tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have check back in tomorrow. We'll have a full update on Hunter Greene and what that MRI showed. He's not the only one having an MRI today, Jeff. Jake Frillley also will be undergoing a MRI to determine the severity of his injury. He was really unable to run before yesterday's game. Looks like, another outfielder down, which is the one area that this team just really cannot afford to lose anybody else.
They weren't even top heavy.
No, they just pulled up.
Right.
They just pulled up Rhys Hines. Rhys Hines is already up, replacing Noelvi Marte on the roster. We'll get to him in just a second. But if Jake Frillley does go down, I expect you might get to break out the pumper car one more time, because Will Benson is really the only one left. That's it. We're down to Will Benson, and that's it. I continue to renew my call for the Reds to go out and trade for an outfielder today.
Please do. I mean, and looking at Jake Frillley and then Noelvi Marte as well, as we'll kind of detail in just a moment, like, talk about two guys who really cannot afford to hit the IL right now for different reasons. I mean, Jake Frillley really hasn't hit the stride yet, hasn't hit the breakout that we were begging from him and that the Reds were betting on because they didn't go out and get a right fielder. He just hadn't hit that breakout yet, albeit he had like a good week a couple of weeks ago. But outside of that, it's been a rough season so far. And it feels like he's not going to get that chance, at least for a little bit. I mean, if he's getting an MRI and seeing how he was running down the bases, like if you remember how that was, it seemed like he almost overextended on a stride and he came down hard on one leg. And I feel like that could be, I don't know, man. I'm really hoping there's nothing wrong with it there, but getting the MRI makes me wonder how long we're going to be without the services of Jake Frillley. But then to the Noelvi Marte of it all, because this was a dude who was breaking out, who looked like he was going to be like starting to pay off on all of the hype and all of the scouting reports. And then he gets hit by a pitch and he plays through it. And then on Sunday, he makes a throw and he felt discomfort after he made a throw. And then he's scratched late on Monday. And now we find out he has a grade 2 left oblique strain. I don't think we're seeing him until after the All-Star break, man.
No, that's probably correct, Jeff. So grade 2, that just tells you the severity of it. Oblique abdominal muscle, grade 2. That means there is some partial tearing in there. You're looking at 5 to 8 weeks for recovery, depending just on how well of a healer he is. And then he's got to come back and do a rehab assignment and all the things. I really don't anticipate seeing him back before the All-Star break. And really, as you mentioned, this is a big one because he was breaking out. He was showing signs of being able to provide something for this lineup. So now Santiago Espinal is the guy. He's going to be playing third base for a while now, Jeff. Yep. And I hope that he can continue to hit as he has been, because while he hasn't been hitting for a lot of power, he has been getting on base. Even after an 0 for 3 day last night, he's still hitting 322 on the year, and he has an OPS of 756.
I think it's hilarious to say the sentence that I'm about to say, but yeah, putting Santiago Espinal at third base really hurts the outfield. But I really feel like,
how did we get here? How did we get here?
How we got here, I do not know. But no, I mean, our idea, we just mentioned it on the last show of, could you move Hayes to right field and have Lux and Espinal platoon in left? And now that's not the case. And Spencer Steer's probably going to be needed at first base mostly. I mean, you're talking about a corner infield of Spencer Steer and Santiago Espinal, because the most recent updates on both CES and Jeimer Candelario are they're all right, but they're not like progressing toward a return anytime soon. So this is the roster. And we've gone from, hey, look at this, we're not that hurt, to holy crap, Steve, your phone's ringing. I think it's Nick Kroll.
I'm ready. I'm starting to stretch. I'm going to start to stretch. Listen, one of the other person we didn't talk about, someone's going to have to come up and at least take a start for Hunter Greene. There's no way he makes his next start. So looking around AAA, looking at who has already had their clock started, who's already on the 40-man, who is available, I think we see another shot for Chase Petty. Hopefully he has a little more time to prepare for this next start and is able to have a better outcome, because he absolutely got his brains beat in his first time out. And I would love, just for the Reds' sake and for Chase's sake, for him to have a better performance this next time out.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I don't think that first start defines my expectations for his continuing major league career. I think it was a little bit of a late notice and things like that. There was a lot of extenuating circumstances there. I think that we will be fine to give him a couple more starts, and hopefully that's all he needs to make. But it's not necessarily like, okay, who's going to replace the exact spot on the roster for Hunter Greene? It's who's going to fill the ace shoes. Who's going to lead this team on the mound, in the outfield, in the infield? We'll talk about that coming up next.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with the complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always have a real person to talk to. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use the promo code SH5 and you're going to get 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
And I'm looking at tonight's game between the Reds and the Braves over at FanDuel. By the way, you got to check out FanDuel right now. New users can head on over to FanDuel and can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's over on FanDuel with the, baseball season going on. You got NBA playoffs going on. So much to check out over at FanDuel. But I'm looking tonight. I mean, we got Spencer Schwellen back on the mound for the Braves going up against Nick Lodolo. And it's a night game. It's not a day game. And I feel like there's shenanigans in day games. I feel like the Reds got a shot here in this night game. Their odds to win, the money line, plus 144. I think I'm taking it for the Reds to earn that split. That's over on FanDuel. Like I mentioned, new users, your first $5 bet that wins can net you $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel is the official sports book of Locked On.
Make sure you are subscribed. That way you don't miss any of the great Reds content we've got coming your way. Jeff and I in your feed Monday through Friday here on Locked On Reds. Tim Daniel in your feed after each and every Reds game, all 162 live with the postcast. Plus, when big stuff happens, we'll do extra along the way. You know that about us. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click that notification bell and subscribe on the audio feeds too. That way you can take us on the road. All right, Jeff, we're going to move into who's going to fill the voids, but I very quickly just want to make mention, I didn't get it in there in that last segment. The Hunter Greene injury has everybody asking, what about Lodolo? What about Wade Miley? Wade Miley's making a start in Dayton, coming off of his groin injury. He is not ready yet. He is not an option at this point. Rhett Lauder pitched in the ACL, and I don't know if you saw this matchup, but this is fun. It was Rhett Lauder versus Clayton Kershaw in the ACL. That is amazing. How would you like to have had $5 for that game? What a great game to have been at.
Was that like the most attended AC?
It was probably Arizona a sellout. I bet it was a sellout. My goodness. My goodness.
Yeah,
but listen, it leads us back around to who's going to fill the void, because it's not going to be Rhett Lauder and it's not going to be Wade Miley. When looking at who is going to fill the void of ace of this rotation while Hunter Greene is out, well, that job needs to be claimed today. Nick Lodolo needs to step up and become the ace of this rotation absent Hunter Greene. We've been waiting for Nick Lodolo to be consistently that kind of a guy, and the Reds need it now more than ever. It's got to be Nick Lodolo.
He's a guy that this season has been very hit or miss, pun intended, because that's really what he wants his pitches to be, a lot of miss. But he himself has had some bad starts. He's had some good starts. His good starts have been really good, and that's why you see the season numbers that he has. But he has the stuff. And we've talked about this before, where it's been like, man, is it Hunter? Is it Nick Lodolo? He needs to bring that back. And quite frankly, there's no better guy to do it against than the ace of the Braves staff in Spencer Schwellenbach, who has been absolutely phenomenal to begin the season. And everybody knows that. But going up against him, Nick Lodolo, not a lot of people outside of the city of Cincinnati and outside of Reds country know how good Nick Lodolo can be. This is his chance to do that. And however long that Hunter Greene will be out, yeah, his starts may be taken over by Chase Petty, but the guy, the stopper, the man at the top of the rotation that is leading this staff needs to be Nick Lodolo, because we have said before that it's ace 1A, 1B. Now it's time for 1B to step up to be 1A or just 1, because quite frankly, I don't know that anybody else is making the argument to be right up there with him. It's Nick Lodolo, and then hopefully this pitching staff can just continue to be as it was, and you've got 4 really awesome, solid starting pitchers, and then you've just got this one guy in Chase Petty or whoever it is that fills that spot that you're like, okay, hopefully they have a good start, but we feel really good about the other 4.
Yeah, you look at Nick Lodolo, and it really has kind of been the tale of two Nicks, right? You look at his last 5 starts, going all the way back to his start against the Giants. Earned runs allowed. Against the Giants, 0. Goose egg. Then he allows 4 against the Mariners. He allows 3 against the Marlins. Goose egg again against the Rockies, which he should have had a goose egg. And then against the Nationals, he allows 6. So he's been very up and down and very inconsistent. That's the thing that he has to fix to step up and be the ace B, right? That's really what the Reds need from him. That's what if they're going to be successful with Hunter Greene out, that's what they need to have happen. We talked about a lot of other injuries though, Jeff, and the outfield is decimated. The outfield, there is not much more room for leeway out there.
We are hoping Brian Hayes is ready on Friday, man.
Right.
Hoping
there is one bright spot of consistency out there right now, and it's TJ Friedl. And while TJ had his 2 bombs yesterday, not known to be a power guy, that was his second and third home run on the year. You look at TJ's numbers on the season, and he's been fine. He's been adequate. He's been mostly okay. But if you do a deep dive on his numbers, it's not very overwhelming. And in fact, he right now is sporting, before last night's game, he was sporting an OPS plus of 84. So this is another guy this is a room of inexperienced players that in many cases probably don't belong there, that are now going to be looking for leadership. And TJ Friedl is going to have to be that leadership. When Austin Hayes comes back, he can be that leadership as well. But it's going to take those 2 guys playing over their heads now a little bit at this point to make up for the utter lack of production that everybody else is bringing to the table.
I feel like this sort of harkens back to the discussions we had a couple of weeks ago that I mentioned, that we talked with Mo about, that you and I talked about a little bit. The whole idea of like a fixer, or, you know, the scrambler, or whoever it is. That's who we're looking for here. We're looking for that leader. Still haven't quite found him. TJ kind of was that guy in the lineup last night, but he hasn't been that guy in the lineup for most of this season so far. Who's it going to be? Who is the consistent guy that you can turn to? I feel like TJ Friedl is high up on that list. The other guy that needs to be there, and quite frankly, I mean, when I talked about it with Mo, he mentioned Tyler Stevenson. I mentioned TJ Friedl. You mentioned, I think you mentioned Spencer Steer, didn't you? Or Matt McClain or something like that. We none of us mentioned Elly De La Cruz. And I think that more than anything is a bit of a referendum on him. I'm not saying that he's been bad this year, but he's been fine. We need him to be better than fine. And he just quite hasn't hit that stride yet. We haven't seen, like, his last home run was the 24-run outburst in Baltimore. Right. Everything else that he's been doing here recently has been singles, and he's been getting on base, and he's been causing havoc with the stolen bases and scoring runs and stuff. But like, where Terry Francona has put him in the lineup, that's not what he's asking Elly De La Cruz to do.
You know, the thing with Elly, and I didn't think we'd be at this place now heading into the middle part of May almost. You look at what Elly De La Cruz has done so far. You look at his stats. The thing that jumps out to me the most is his OPS plus right now, Jeff. He's average. He's league average. He's nothing special. And you and I both know he's a better baseball player than that. Whatever is holding him back right now, he needs to turn it on. The Reds need a leader, and the Reds need him to come on strong. And, you know, right now he needs to be the guy to drive this engine. And you mentioned Matt McClain. He's another guy that really needs to step it up. OPS plus at 62 right now. He's showing signs, but I'm tired of saying he's showing signs. It's time. It is time to go. Elly needs to go. Matt needs to go. And this team can overcome a little bit of what's going on. One other thing I think the Reds have got to do while all this is happening, if they're not going to go out and make a trade for an outfielder, I'm starting Rhys Hines every day and getting a definitive decision on who it is that he is. Are they going to just keep throwing sliders to him that he can't hit, or is he going to figure it out? And is he going to start driving the baseball kind of like he did when he first got here last year? I want to see. We need to know. Let's answer the question.
Took the words right out of my mouth. 100% agree with you. I know this, though, Steve. They got to get some folks to step up out in the field, because right now they don't really have those guys. I do have a question, though, because when we look at the bullpen, and when we look at how the bullpen picked up after Hunter Greene left early, there was a performance from Luis Mey that, man, I'm getting really excited about him. And I think it's too early to get excited about it, but I'm really excited about him, and we're going to discuss why coming up next.
Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein. Jeff just took in 12 right there, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Jeff looks full right now. I personally love the no shells variety. That's what Jeff's working on over there too. They don't leave a mess on the desk. They don't get all over the keyboard. They don't get all over our sound system. They are great. The fact that Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. The no-shell Wonderful Pistachios are grab and go. They're easy to eat, whether you're taking them on a trip in the car or for a picnic or to the ballpark or to the sound studio. Wonderful Pistachios is for you. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
And if you can't watch us on YouTube, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcasting app. Make sure you download your favorite podcasting app and subscribe to us on there today. All right, Steve, man, I'm telling you what, we've only seen a handful of games. I get it. It's very, very early into his major league career. Luis Mey just got here. But everything that I've seen about Luis Mey has me very excited. I mean, dude is dotting. He's not just throwing a 101 mile an hour fastball. He is dotting a 101 mile an hour fastball. And it's not a four-seamer. It's a sinker. That thing moves all over the place. And guys just
miles an hour.
First of all, I don't know how you do that. I'm just insanely impressed by that. But oh, by the way, then he drops in this slider and he's able to keep the ball on the ground. Like his minor league career ground ball rate was over 50%. This is the guy. As long as he can keep the walk rate down, this is the guy we've been looking for, dude. This is him.
Listen, in 4 games, he's pitched 4 innings. He's allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run. He's walked 1 guy. He struck out 7.
Count. That's all we need to see.
Stop the count. Stop the count. Oh, my God. All right, look. Struck out 7, walked 1, 4 games. This is, I'm going to repeat what I told you in show prep because I think it's important to bear in mind. Yes, you're getting way too excited way too soon. The league is going to adjust to him, and we're going to have to see how he handles adjusting back. That's the great game, right? Guys come up, hitters haven't seen them. They look like they're lights out. The hitters figure it out and get a little bit of a scouting report on them, and then all of a sudden they can't get anybody out. So we need to see how Luis Mey responds to that. But I'm with you. Right now, he's fun. He's fun to watch throw that 100-mile-an-hour sinker and just guess at what people are thinking as they're walking back to the dugout. I don't know what you do with that. But if he can continue to make adjustments and continue to be that guy, I'll take 7 strikeouts for every 1 walk. The big knock on him has always been his command. The big knock on him has always been his ability to stay in the strike zone. Thus far, he has looked good. And I think he is going to continue to benefit from having time with Derek Johnson at the big league level right now. I think he's probably learned all that he has to learn at the AAA level. Now is the time for him to really work the rest of the way in becoming a professional major league pitcher. There will be bumps. There will be growing pains. But I'm with you. I think we might have found a good one.
We have not seen him like labor. You know what I mean? Like a relief pitcher coming in and, all right, you get 1 out, but boy, the guy worked the count full at the plate. And then the next guy goes to a 3-ball count and you get him to pop up. And then the next guy, it's like, we haven't seen that. Like his most recent outing here in Atlanta was 8 pitches, 2 ground outs and a strikeout on 8 pitches. It's just so efficient right now. And I think, yes, I agree with you that there is some sort of shock factor when it comes to opposing hitters and him being on the mound. And they're like, wow, what is going on? This is a fast moving pitch. What am I supposed to do with this? But I will wonder a little bit what happens. And it doesn't even really take an inning. It takes 1 batter, because I remember this and hearkening back a ways here. But I remember when Aroldis Chapman looked invincible, and then he faced Joe Mauer, and Joe Mauer fouled off like something like 34 pitches. in the at bat, fouled off every fastball he saw, and dared him to throw anything else. And he worked a walk. And then the next guy got a 2-run home run. I think it was Morneau. This was back when it was the Twins and Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau. I can vividly remember this. I don't remember exactly which year, but I'm looking for that. What happens when he finds that guy? When he finds the dude that's like, I got your sinker, man. I'm not going to be able to hit it, but I'm going to waste it. Every single time you throw it, I need to see that slider. What can you do with that slider? That's where I think we will see our first, like, okay, we can really start to trust what we're seeing from Luis Mey when he faces that.
So that 8-pitch inning that we saw from him last night, something else to just keep in mind, that was probably the highest leverage situation he's pitched in to date in his career, right? That's the first time he's really been trusted in a high leverage situation. And trusted might not be the right word. Francona at that point was like, well, crap. All right, go. Let's see. Covering a lot of innings last night, but May responded. He responded to the high leverage situation.
Yes.
And to your point about the 8 pitches and getting the ground outs, I think if he can be a guy that can throw the pitches that he throws and induce weak contact and pitch to weak contact, there's something there. There's something there to be excited about. So while I'm not ready to like go and order my Luis Mey jersey yet, Jeff, I definitely do want to see more.
It's in the mail right now for me. No, I'm kidding. I haven't ordered it yet. But no, there's something about the way that he pitches. It looks so easy. It looks so repeatable. It doesn't look like he is like got these weird mechanics that are going to wear him down. And credit to Terry Francona too. He even mentioned after the game, because I thought about this too, the 8-pitch inning. I'm like, does he come back out? Do we see him pitch another inning? And Terry Francona said, we thought about that, but based on where he is in his current development, we're like, no, we're not going to do that to this dude. This is the first high leverage situation he's faced. We're not going to compound it. And we're just going to have him take this win, take this good performance and build off of it. And I love how Terry Francona managed that.
Right. Everybody has been on the socials with, the breakdowns, the fundamental breakdowns, and saying things like, well, I thought Francona was supposed to be better. I thought Francona was supposed to be something different. Here's an example of how Francona was something different, because I think David Bell 10 out of 10 times would have sent Luis Mey back out there. And I totally agree with how Francona handled this. You got to bring that guy along slowly, because had they sent him back out and something had went sideways, you would have done more damage, and it would have taken multiple outings to undo that. As it stands, he's got this great high leverage outing under his belt now, tremendous success, builds his confidence. He comes out next time ready to go. I like what Francona did there.
But I do agree. It's a little bit too early to be this excited, but that doesn't make me any less excited. And that is where we will end today's podcast. Thank you so much for checking out today's Locked On Reds podcast. If you are not an everyday, or if you don't make us your first listen every day, you really should. And the best way to do that is to hit subscribe here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast app. You can catch us. You can catch Tim Daniel on the Reds postcast after the final out of every game. You can also see the MLB squad shows that we post every Tuesday afternoon. And now go check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Got you covered for every game, every night. That's over on the Locked On MLB channel, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We're your team every single day. Steve, what do we always say?
Well, we're going to be gathering up the news, the rumors, the MRI reports, and we're going to bring them all right back here and keep you locked on healthcare and the Reds every single day.
Oh gosh, Locked On Healthcare. I don't want to host that podcast.
Is that a show? Should we talk to David about that?
I'm not
Locked On Reds injury issues.